The film starts as a woman named Frida, Naomi Aki, is scrolling through her phone until she finds news and video interviews with billionaire Slater King, Channing Tatum. In the past year, Slater has been disgraced as a result of inappropriate behavior, but he is hoping that people can forgive him and move on. Frida and her best friend Jess, Alia Shokot, work as cocktail waitresses for a gala event hosted by Slater's company. After a while, Jess brings out dresses that she smuggled in for her and Frida to walk around as guests. Frida inadvertently draws attention to herself when her heel breaks and she stumbles into a waiter. Slater shows up and helps her on her feet, even breaking off the other heel so she is even. Slater charms Frida and introduces her to a bunch of his close rich friends. At the end of the night, Slater invites Frida and Jess to join him and the others at his own personal private island. The ladies fly to the island where they are joined by Slater's friends, Rich the therapist, Kyle MacLachlan, Vic the photographer, Christian Slater, Cody the private chef, Simon Rex, Tom the DJ, Haley Joel Osment, college graduate Lucas, Levon Hawke, Cody's sort of girlfriend/reality TV star Sarah, Audrey Arjona, party girls Camilla, Liz Carable, and Heather, True Mullen, and Slater's personal assistant Stacy, Gina Davis, who confiscates everyone's phones upon arrival. Frida goes to her room where she finds a bottle of perfume that she sprays herself with. A maid, Maria Elena Oliveras, speaks to her and can only say, "Red Rabbit," to Frida. While the other guests lounge and hang out by the pool, Frida joins Slater as he gives her a little tour of the area. He says there are snakes on the property that his employees have to kill. Frida also discusses with him how she has a small business doing animal-themed nail art. They pass by Stacy, who is carrying numerous red gift bags. At night, they join the other guests for dinner before ingesting MDMA droplets. When Frida wakes up in her bed next to Jess, she finds that a red stain she had on her dress is now completely gone. As they spend more time on the island, the guests seem to be having fun, but Frida starts to experience brief flashes of memory while waking up to things she has zero memory of, unexplained dirt under her fingernails, for example. Frida goes to return Slater's vape pen to him where he introduces her to Rich, even though she remembers meeting him at the gala the other night. Meanwhile, Jess also starts to observe strange things and gets suspicious when she sees the maid that spoke to Frida taking care of some of the snakes. At night, while the group is partying, Jess yells after a snake bites her hand. Slater kills the snake before having Jess's wound treated. She privately talks to Frida about how she feels that something is not right on the island. Before she goes back to her room, Jess starts to get a nosebleed. The next day, Frida goes looking for Slater and runs into the maid again. She offers Frida a liquor made with the snake venom. Frida drinks some and complains about the strong taste. Later on, she notices things like Sarah having a mysterious bruise on her arm, and Frida also notices that not only is Jess missing, but people like Camilla and Heather don't seem to even remember Jess being there, even though they are using the same lighter that Jess has been sharing with them the whole trip. When Frida runs back to her room, she finds a knife hidden behind the mirror, mixed with a brief flashback of Jess telling her to hide the knife. Frida talks to Sarah, as she has also started to get a sense that something is not right. Frida brings her to the room with the red gift bags that she found before getting her hands on more of the snake venom liquor and giving it to Sarah. They realize that the flour used to make the perfume for the ladies is making them forget something, while the snake venom might help them remember. They then trick Camilla and Heather into drinking it by mixing it with tequila to make shots. Stacy ends up joining them and drinking some of it too. While everyone is getting drunk, Frida uses the opportunity to sneak into Slater's office to find their phones, while Sarah tries to signal her in case something comes up. Frida hides when Slater shows up with Stacy and his bodyguard Stan. Among Slater's belongings, Frida finds some snapshots of a previous trip. Frida then starts to get a nosebleed and she remembers seeing herself and the other ladies tied up and terrified. Jess was remembering everything, so Slater had Stan snap her neck. Frida manages to escape and report to Sarah what she learned. Over dinner, Frida starts to remember everything. The men have been raping the women and using the perfume to make them forget what happened. Rich had assaulted Frida recently, which is why he was taken back to see that she recognized him. Frida and Sarah start getting everyone to dance so they can figure out their next move. Soon, Camilla and Heather's memories return, leading to Camilla stabbing Tom in the neck until he's dead, and Heather attempts to bludgeon Vic with a chessboard until Stan shoots her in the head. Stan finds and attempts to execute Frida until Sarah bashes him to death with a rock. The remaining guys have taken Camilla hostage in Slater's villa before he steps on her neck until she stops breathing. Frida is found by Stacy, who is angry that Frida made her remember what the men were doing to her. Stacy attacks Frida until she stabs Stacy in the heart. Outside, Sarah corners Cody in the woods and kills him. Lucas, the only one who wasn't participating in the atrocities, starts to remember what he saw the men do. Frida and Sarah show up outside to confront Slater. When Lucas opens the door, he gets shot in the head. When Frida makes it inside the villa, she fights Slater briefly until more memories come back. She was on the island the previous year and managed to escape but still forgot what happened to her. She got a scar on her head from Slater letting her fall onto a rock, and she also bit off Vic's pinky. Slater goes on a rant and hits his vape pen one more time before he prepares to slash Sarah's throat. Soon, he becomes disoriented, as Frida put the flower toxin in his vape pen to make him forget. When he sees the dead bodies all around him, Slater starts to panic and knock over some candles, causing the villa to catch fire. Frida drags Slater out while Vic is left to die in there. Frida appears to talk to Sarah next to her, but when the camera pans out, it is just Frida alone with an unconscious Slater watching the house go up in flames. Some time later, Frida is at a gala event with Slater once again, though he is still being kept compliant with the flower toxin in his vape pen. Frida sees Rich again, who seems nervous to find that she remembers him. The host of the event then introduces Frida as both Slater's wife and the CEO of his company.